Look at yourself at this very moment. Answer, not to me, but to the silence of your own room. How many times have you already woken up this week feeling like you lost the day before even setting your feet on the floor? You open your eyes, the alarm rings with its metallic scream, and in less than 30 seconds, an invisible storm of anxiety, notifications, and pending tasks dictates the rhythm of your existence. You get up dragging a tired body, but the cruel truth is that your fatigue is not physical. Your muscles received rest, but your soul remains exhausted.
If you identified with this cycle, if you feel that you are operating in pure survival mode, know that you are not alone in this invisible cell. You are part of an entire generation that was taught to feed the flesh with immediate comforts while letting the spirit starve. The modern world profits from your mental fragmentation. It needs you to live numb, reactive, and confused. But the master who inhabits the mountains does not fight against chaos. He simply refuses to participate in it. The real discipline you seek is not a process of accumulating productivity techniques. It is a ruthless demolition. To give life to clarity, you must first have the courage to kill the habits that are suffocating your mind. If you are ready to look in the mirror and reclaim sovereignty over your own life, stay here. Let us begin the cleansing. The first habit that is weakening your structure is the obsessive pursuit of immediate convenience. You have built a society where physical pain has been almost entirely eliminated. The water is always warm, food arrives at the touch of a finger, the environment is temperature controlled, and the space for effort has been entirely outsourced to machines. However, pay attention to the law of the mountains. A body that is never tested by voluntary discomfort inevitably transforms into the tomb of a cowardly spirit. When you systematically choose the softest path, you are sending a clear command to your subconscious that you are fragile, that you cannot bear the slightest setback. The flesh, softened by excess pampering, sabotages mental resilience. Destroy the luxury of convenience. Take the cold shower when the body begs for warmth. Walk in the rain without complaining. Climb the stairs instead of leaning on the elevator. Force matter to understand through voluntary discomfort that it is your spirit that governs this house. The second habit, and perhaps the most devastating of modernity, is the banquet of noise you consume as soon as you open your eyes. Bringing glowing screens, the voices of others, tragic news, and the fake happiness of strangers into your first 20 minutes of daily consciousness is an act of profanation against yourself. By doing so, you hand over the key to your mental temple to the algorithm. You begin your day not as an architect paving your own destiny, but as a frightened prisoner reacting to the stimuli of others. Your mind absorbs that dark ink and spends the rest of the day murky, unable to focus, fast from information. When the sun rises, remain in the emptiness for an hour. Look at your own hands. Feel the texture of the air. Drink your water in silence. Let your soul be like a completely virgin scroll of rice paper before the world tries to scribble its anxieties onto it. The third habit is the comforting lie of multitasking. You firmly believe that doing 3 or 4 things at the same time is a sign of efficiency, intelligence, and speed. But the truth that haste hides is that fragmenting attention is just a modern form of mental anesthesia. He who tries to walk 2 distinct paths at the same time advances in neither. He only tears his own garments and wastes vital energy. When you reply to a message while studying, or listen to an audio file while trying to eat lunch, your mind enters a state of chronic entropy. Kill the illusion of fragmentation. Reclaim the sanctity of the single act. If you are washing a teacup, let the entire universe disappear, and let there exist only your fingers, the water, and the ceramic. If you are writing a line, put the entire strength of your existence into the tip of that pen. Absolute focus is not just a work tool. It is the only geometric place where peace of mind can truly take root. The fourth habit is the desperate and pathological escape from silence. Notice how you fill every empty microspace of the day. If you get into the car, you turn on the radio. If you walk down the street, you put on headphones. If you go to sleep, you leave the television on in the background. You do this because you have a deep ancestral dread of what you will find when the auditory anesthesia ends. You are afraid to hear the questions your own consciousness asks when the noise ceases. But understand, silence is not absence. It is presence. It is not a desert. It is pregnant with the answers and truths that you spend your entire life trying to ignore, so you do not have to change. Face the emptiness. Turn off the artificial noises. Sit in a chair, in the dark, doing absolutely nothing for 10 minutes. Allow the dust to settle. It is in the deepest stillness that the voice of inner wisdom finally finds room to be heard. The fifth habit that kills your spirit is material accumulation, disguised as identity. You keep clothes that no longer fit, buy objects you do not use, accumulate books you will never read, and clutter your homes with physical distractions, believing that the volume of possessions will fill the emptiness of your lives. But the things you own end up owning you. Every unnecessary object that enters your visual field is an invisible master, demanding your attention, your cleaning, your worry, and your mental space. External disorder is the exact mirror of internal disorder. Clear your shelves. Practice radical minimalism, not as a design choice, but as a spiritual house cleaning. The true stature and freedom of a man are not measured by the quantity of things he displays, but by the number of things he can give up without losing his dignity or his peace. The sixth habit is the primitive impulse of instantaneous emotional reaction. Someone sends you a harsh message, a stressful email arrives in your inbox, or a stranger cuts you off in traffic, and your mind reacts in the exact same millisecond, distilling anger, justifications, or indignation. If you react instantly to every external provocation, you are not the master of yourself. You are the property of whoever attacked you. You are a puppet whose strings are pulled by the mood of others. The bamboo teaches us the discipline of the filter. It does not fight the wind with rigidity because it knows it would break. It bends with elegance, lets the force of the storm pass through its hollow space, and returns to the center with the same sovereignty as before. Destroy the impulse of the immediate response. Create a sacred chasm of 3 seconds between the world's stimulus and your action. He who masters the pause before acting masters his own destiny. Tearing these 6 habits from your flesh will not bring you the comfort that society so heavily promises you. On the contrary, it will bring you the weight of responsibility and the discomfort of lucidity. But it will hand you something infinitely superior, your spiritual sovereignty. When you clear away the debris and the noise that modernity has dumped on your mind, what remains is not loneliness. It is your true essence, unshakable, crystalline, focused, and absolutely free. If you felt the impact of these true lessons, and understood that your spirit urgently needs this voluntary demolition, do not return to the noise of the world as if nothing had happened. Walk by my side on this journey back to the essence. Subscribe to Ink and Wisdom right now and ring the wind chime of our notifications. Every week, we will return together to these mountains to reclaim our mental clarity. Before closing this screen, look around you, examine your routine, and answer in the comments with radical honesty. Which of these 6 habits is draining your soul at this very moment, and which one do you commit to destroying starting tonight? Leave your truth recorded below. I will be reading and watching every response. Find calm. Master your life.